Welcome to the Explainer. So, let's just jump right in. Do you ever get that, that vague, heavy sense of creeping financial anxiety right in the pit of your stomach when you check your banking app? You're definitely not alone. It's incredibly common, especially for high earners in their 30s and 40s. We're working hard, doing all the right things, but somehow, true wealth just kind of feels out of reach. Well, today, we are digging into the source material to uncover the hidden money traps that literally nobody actively warned you about. And more importantly, we're going to figure out how to systematically avoid them.
Think about your situation right now. You're probably making way more money today than you were 5 years ago, right? But honestly, ask yourself, does your lifestyle actually feel any more secure? For so many of us, the answer is a massively frustrating no. You're putting money away every single month, yet your pockets just always feel kind of empty. And listen, if no one warns you about why this is happening, well, that creeping anxiety is going to morph into a full-blown financial crisis.
To really get a handle on this, let's look at a real-world profile from the research. Meet Mark. Mark is 35, he works in tech, and he brings home about $6,000 a month. He's got the mortgage, the car payment, and he takes those nice little vacations abroad. From the outside looking in, Mark is absolutely crushing it. He's the picture of success. But if you actually ask him how much liquid cash he has lying around for a genuine emergency, it's probably less than 10 grand. Mark isn't struggling to make money. He's just spending every last dollar on exactly what society expects of him.
And that brings us right to the fundamental flaw in how our generation was taught about money. The classic societal script: work hard, save money, buy a house, settle down. We're told this is the golden path to success. But the data shows us that following this exact sequence in your 30s can be a massive trap. So what actually happens? You finally build up some savings, and immediately society pressures you to buy a house. So you take your entire life savings and just dump it into a down payment. You're tying up your most critical, flexible resources into one massive, illiquid asset way before you've actually built a solid foundation. It's literally like jumping straight into the deep end before you even know how to float.
And then you hit your 40s and you slam right into this: lifestyle inflation. By 40, sure, your salary's going up, but suddenly the kids need tutoring, aging parents need care, the house needs a new roof. It's like your income is a bucket that keeps getting bigger and bigger, but the hole at the bottom is growing just as fast. The source material completely busts a major myth here. Increasing your income does not automatically equal increasing your wealth. Did you know that roughly a third of U.S. lottery winners declare bankruptcy within 5 years? Think about that. They had massive piles of cash, but absolutely zero systems. Money itself doesn't make you wealthy. It's exactly how you treat it.
The pivot: employee versus CEO mindset. Okay, let's dive into this. It's a simple pivot, but honestly, so many people completely miss it. The employee mindset says, I trade my time for a salary and I use that salary to live. Basically, survival mode. But the CEO mindset? A CEO asks, okay, what resources do I have and how can I deploy them to generate a profit? You have to stop asking yourself, how much did I spend this month? And start asking, is my money actually out there working for me?
Trap number 1. The illusion of security.
In your 30s, it's super easy to think a stable job means your finances are perfectly safe. But here's the reality check. A job only provides a stable cash flow. It doesn't provide true security. Real security means knowing exactly how many weeks or months you could survive if you lost that job tomorrow. And the data here is just alarming. Over 50% of the working population lacks even a 2-month cash buffer. Over half. Their entire financial life is just hanging by a very, very thin thread. And when things do get tough, you know what people do? They start treating their credit card limit like an emergency fund. Let's be absolutely clear. A credit card is high-interest borrowed money. It is not an emergency fund. Relying on it just means you're actively digging yourself into debt during a crisis.
Trap number 2, investment anxiety.
Once you hit your 30s, the noise around investing gets incredibly loud. The FOMO from social media alone can lead to some truly terrible rush decisions. The research highlights a perfect, albeit heartbreaking, cautionary tale. A 32-year-old spent 3 solid years saving up $80,000. Out of pure anxiety and hype, he dumped the whole shebang into a trendy stock. Well, the stock drops nearly 60%. Ouch, right? Actually, wait. The real disaster is what happened next. In month 7, he got laid off. And because he didn't have a separate emergency fund, he was forced to sell those shares at a massive loss just to keep the lights on and pay his bills. 3 years of hardcore savings just vanished into thin air, leaving him with a measly $30,000. Look, investing is great, it's essential, but doing it without a safety net, it'll absolutely destroy your finances.
Trap number 3, the inertia of lifestyle upgrades.
This trap hits especially hard in your 40s.
Because as your income grows, your lifestyle just naturally upgrades, right? Nice dinners out, international trips, maybe a sleeker car. And that isn't inherently bad, but here's the catch. Upgrading is effortless. Downgrading is absolutely agonizing. Once those expensive habits lock in, it's so hard to go back. If you face a sudden pay cut or a layoff, could you stomach a massive lifestyle downgrade? Well, most people just can't. They'd rather swipe their credit cards to maintain appearances than admit to their friends that they need to cut back. This inertia is exactly why so many high earners are actually walking around with incredibly fragile finances.
Trap number 4, the insurance illusion. People very often buy a ton of insurance, patting themselves on the back thinking they're being super responsible, but they totally fail to protect against the real risks. They'll dump thousands into whole life or investment-linked policies thinking, hey, I'm getting this clever mix of protection and investment returns. But actually, the return rate is usually terrible, and your money is locked up for years. What the experts emphasize over and over is pure protection. We're talking term life insurance and robust health insurance. These have relatively low premiums, but they protect you against the truly catastrophic risks, ensuring that one unexpected illness doesn't completely wipe out your family's entire future.
Trap number 5, retirement procrastination.
This is easily the most common problem in your 30s and 40s. Current expenses feel way too high, so you just tell yourself, you know what, I'll deal with it later. But time is literally your most valuable asset. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer brutal cost of procrastination. Let's look at the numbers. If you start at age 30 and invest just $500 a month at a 7% return, you'll have nearly $800,000 by age 65. But if you procrastinate and wait until age 40 to start investing that exact same amount, you're only going to have about $380,000. Waiting just 10 years costs you more than half your potential wealth. That is the undeniable, mind-blowing power of compound interest.
The solution, your concrete execution system. Okay, take a breath. I know facing all these traps can feel a bit heavy, but simply knowing they exist already puts you miles ahead. So, here is a 5-step system directly from the research to help transition you from anxiety into absolute empowerment. Step 1. Build your financial dashboard. You need a crystal clear picture of your income, expenses, and debts. Step 2. Fund your emergency buffer. We're talking 3 to 6 months of living expenses tucked away in a totally accessible account before you invest a single dime. Step 3. Force your savings with automation. Don't rely on willpower, it'll fail you. Set up an auto transfer so your savings move the exact day you get paid. Step 4. Start dollar cost averaging. And Step 5. The annual financial checkup. Do it just like you would for your physical health. Catch those small leaks before they sink the ship.
Let's quickly clarify Step 4, dollar cost averaging. Because it sounds fancy, but it's not. You don't need to be some Wall Street stock-picking genius. You just need to invest a fixed amount every single month into low-fee, broad market index funds. That's it. This lets compound interest do all the heavy lifting without you ever needing to guess market trends. And the absolute best part? You can start with just $100 or $200 a month. The act of starting is way more important than the amount you start with.
The conclusion. The next step today.
If you are sitting there right now feeling a little overwhelmed, just remember, every single financially successful person started with a messy situation. Nobody is born knowing how to manage money. Over 60% of people feel anxious about their financial situation, but less than 30% actually have a systematic way of managing it. So the crucial point is, that gap right there, that is an incredible opportunity for you to get ahead. You can be in that top 30% simply by taking action.
The experts suggest starting with just one courageous step today. Ask yourself, what is your net worth? Seriously, log into your banking apps, add up your balances, subtract your debts, and write down your actual number. You don't need to change any behaviors today. You just need to clearly see where you stand. The very moment you write that number down, your journey has officially begun.
Because true wealth isn't about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. Your 30s and 40s are literally your most critical financial decades. The decisions you are making right now will completely change your reality later on. So if you found this explainer helpful, please take just one concept you learned today and share it with someone you care about, a partner, a friend, a sibling. Nobody actively warns us about these traps, so we really have to warn each other. Financial freedom isn't some impossible pipe dream. It's a destination you reach step by step. So I'll leave you with this. 10 years from now, what will you wish you had started doing today?